Dr. Sleep is directed by Mike Flanagan and is a sequel to The Shining. Ewan McGregor plays Danny Torrance, who is grown up now and is an alcoholic and meets a young girl who has powers similar to him. He must protect her from a group called the True Knot, which is led by Rose the Hat. As they take young children with powers similar to Danny Torrance's, they try to extract the powers of young children so they can become immortal. I'm not sure how I initially felt about Dr. Sleep. The Shining is one of my all-time favorite horror films, and I'm not sure that I wanted to see a continuation of that story. I know that Dr. Sleep is written by Stephen King, but I'm not sure if I wanted to see another story that continued from The Shining. Now, going into Dr. Sleep, I was not expecting The Shining. I don't think that's completely fair for me to go see a film years after a remarkable film directed by Stanley Kubrick to kind of expect that same style. It's a completely different director, completely different time. So I went into Dr. Sleep with a little bit of a lower expectation, but still excited to see Danny Torrance with this new story that is really expanding on what The Shining was. The Shining was a much more smaller film. If you look at The Shining and Dr. Sleep, The Shining is much more of a contained movie, whereas Dr. Sleep is building on that mythology from The Shining. And I'm happy to say that Dr. Sleep is a good movie. It's a long movie. It's a very long movie. And if you're going into it expecting the same kind of movie from The Shining, you're not going to get that. It's something completely different, but still manages to please the fans of The Shining. Ewan McGregor does a great job as Danny Torrance. He is someone who is still dealing with what had happened to him as a young kid at the Overlook Hotel. There are some memories thrown throughout the movie, and what had happened there has led to his life now. He's an alcoholic, he's trying to get his life together, and he meets Abra, a young girl who has similar powers to him. And there's this group called the True Knot, led by Rose the Hat, played by Rebecca Ferguson, and she is extracting the powers from these young children so she can remain immortal with her group. I think Rose the Hat was a really good villain, really fleshed out. You could understand her motive. Even though she was a villain, I think she was a really well-written character. I liked her character. She was vile, she was evil, but she played it so well to where you actually kind of liked the character. And the young girl, Abra, was really terrific as well. She was a great addition to the story. Her powers are way beyond what Danny Torrance had. So her powers are regarded as like the top, the best. And so all these people are trying to get to Abra and get all of her powers. So Danny Torrance has to protect her. So I like how they kind of explored a little bit more of The Shining and what The Shining is and how other people have it and how people use it for themselves, use it for good, use it for bad, whatever it may be. They took The Shining itself and really expanded on that and really dived deep into that mythology. And I was really impressed with that because The Shining movie, talked a lot about Danny Torrance and his shining, but with Dr. Sleep now, you're getting more people and exploring different sides of it, which I thought was really impressive. What I was looking forward to, I guess, the most about Dr. Sleep was the connection from this movie to The Shining. Now, I know some people like to have, a separate story. I like when things are connected, and I like references. I like throwbacks and people paying homage to movies. I just like that kind of stuff. And Dr. Sleep does use a lot of scenes from the Shining movie. For a good majority, the first and second act of the movie, we get a little bit of The Shining, little set designs here and there that resemble what the Overlook Hotel was like. And certain memories, you would see flashbacks throughout Danny Torrance and him meeting Abra. But once we get to the third act, this is when all of that Shining stuff comes into play. and I was so happy with the ending. I think it's one of my favorite third acts of this year. It wasn't trying to have all the moments from the Overlook Hotel in Doctor Sleep by saying, hey, here's everything you loved about The Shining, and here you go. Here's it for you guys. They really utilize those moments to strengthen the plot of the movie and really grow the characters. Danny Torrance has a hard time dealing with whatever happened, with what had happened to him as a kid, but he's using that as a way to try to defeat Rose the Hat. And so we get, which I was really surprised with, new actors for the mom and dad of Danny Torrance. They are not CGI characters. They are people that actually decently look like the actors and actresses in the movie. And so we get a lot of moments from when Danny Torrance was younger and he's talking to his mom, and you're also getting the scenes with Jack Torrance as well. And I was really impressed with how they handled those moments. They didn't have CGI characters. They picked people that looked like the mom and dad of Danny Torrance, and even the twins. And the set design is just, it's perfect. It looks a lot like The Shining. And so once the movie was going towards the Overlook Hotel and the score and the overhead shot, and we get into the hotel, I was feeling so giddy. I was feeling so excited to see everything. And I'm not saying that everything before that was bad, because the whole movie, 2.5 hour movie, it's really good. I loved everything about the movie. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys and not say that the third act was my favorite, because it was. I really liked how this movie ended and how Danny Torrance overcame things and was able to really help Abram. But everything else set up that moment really well. Ewan McGregor is great in the movie. Rebecca Ferguson is great as well. And they did a lot of building up for other people who have The Shining, really fleshing out Rose the Hat, which I thought was great. And then it led to an all-out, really epic, really good third act of the movie, which I thought was terrific and a good way to end the movie. Doctor Sleep is a great film. I wasn't expecting too much from it. I didn't want to go into it thinking I was going to get The Shining all over again. But this is a new story, a continuation of what Danny Torrance is going through and how he can use his shinings to help someone else as well. And if you go into Doctor Sleep not expecting the same tone, the same style, the same structure as The Shining, you may be really impressed with this film. Mike Flanagan is proving to be a really good director in the horror genre. Films like Hush and Gerald's Game, Oculus, and even the second Ouija film. He is a solid director. He knows how to utilize his scares, utilize his setting and different things to really strengthen the plot and the characters. He is a good director, and I don't think he's getting the recognition he deserves, because he makes a lot of the moments in here really tense. I don't think this is truly a terrifying movie. What makes this movie really haunting is The Shining and how people are affected by it and how people really want to obtain the powers of children who have The Shining and try to become immortal. I think that is a terrifying and haunting story, but a lot of the imagery and the scenes within the movie are not that scary. I think that the overall story it's presenting and the structure and the characters past and present is haunting in itself. So before I give you my final thoughts and score on Doctor Sleep, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell notification for more up and coming videos. Guys, we're almost to 6,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate all the support I've gotten throughout the years. It really means a lot to me. So Doctor Sleep was a surprising film. Like I said, I wasn't expecting too much from this movie, but I think that really helped me go through this movie, and my thoughts at the end of the movie was that this movie is really good. And I think Ewan McGregor does a great job as an adult Danny Torrance. And for someone who wasn't sure what to expect from a continuation of one of the best horror films of all time, I think that Mike Flanagan did a good job of paying homage to Stanley Kubrick's Shining, as well as presenting a new story for a new audience, but also connecting it to that movie. Overall, I was really impressed with it. It's a long film, 2.5 hours, but I think they utilize every moment to their advantage. I'm gonna go ahead and give Dr. Sleep a B+. Have you guys seen the new film Dr. Sleep, the sequel to The Shining, directed by Mike Flanagan? Let me know what you thought about the film in the comment section down below. Stay tuned for more movie reviews coming your way. My name is JustinWatchesMovies, and you guys stay across YouTube.